Yes, we're back with another rider, another episode. Today we have Blue and Laura, sorry. And they're one's from the States and one's going to the States. So we're losing one but gained another.
That's right.
But it works for everybody here. So what brought you to America and what's making you want to go to America? So what brought you to England and what makes you want to go to America?
Okay, so I went to America because I met my husband when I was traveling to New York. So I met him a couple of years ago. And then that's why I went to America. Yeah.
She was this fantastic British Airways hostess.
Air hostess, yes.
And you should see her pictures. She's just absolutely stunning. So gorgeous.
Okay. And you, Laura, what brought you to London?
So my husband works for the
red light camera
US State
ahead
Department and was posted here. So he works at the US Embassy. And I own a practice in mental health practice in Virginia. And a really cool transferable job. So now I work from home in London, seeing my clients back in Virginia.
Okay. So Zoom and Teams is the way to go then?
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
It works.
What was the impression you had of London to what you have learnt about London today?
That's a great question because I recently traveled back to the United States. In fact, I got home this morning. Initially, I thought that London was going to be kind of just cold and dreary and that the people weren't really that welcoming, and only just because of what I'd read or what I'd heard. But
And then I came along and shocked you.
I'll be honest, it's I would live here if I could. It's probably one of the coolest places I've ever been. We love it. I love London, but I also love all of the UK. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh, so you've travelled a bit.
I have, yeah. We've gone out and done some stuff like Cotswolds and Brighton and those kinds of things. We went to York and Cornwall. It's just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
You two like a radiating positive energy. I like that. There's 111,000 Americans living in London.
Did you know that?
I had no idea.
So you're not
That's
alone.
surprising.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting when I hear an American accent. I want to avoid them. I'm just
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I love it. I do. That's awesome.
So Blue, are you ready for America?
No, do you know what? This has been a really hard week because I've had so many goodbyes, and like this is my kind of like final big goodbyes. That's why we're going to this festival. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm ready because it's such a big change, and I've got little kids as well. But I'm going to embrace it. It's not the first time I've lived in the US, but this time I'm my friend says, put your ponytail on and put your big girl pants on. And yeah, so I'm going, and I'm going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, I want to enjoy it this time. This is the big thing for me.
Where did you go? So you're going to Virginia now.
Yep.
Where did you go the first time?
I was in the Midwest. I was in Missouri, which actually was quite fun in hindsight. I was there during COVID because that's where my husband's originally from. And then there was another time when I was in New York because that's where we kind of met. So, but obviously New York everybody loves New York, so that didn't feel different to me. That just felt cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Out of your careers, if you two could do it all again, would you do it? And if you would do it, was there anything you would do slightly different? And if so, why?
For me, in a heartbeat, I'd do it again. And I think the only difference I would have is that when I had children, I thought my career had to stop. I thought like I couldn't have it all. I couldn't be a mum and a flight attendant. But I've seen some of my friends who kind of pushed through it, and now their kids are like 7 and 8, and they're still enjoying it and they're still doing it. And I think like that would be the difference. I would have said, okay, do you know what? I can do this. I can have it all if I want. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So I take it your friends are still married.
That's why they can still do it.
Okay.
Because that is it. They reached out to the husband and they said, I still want to have this career. And to be fair, my husband was quite supportive about it. And their husband's like, well, look, we'll make it work. Again, they had the support of grandmas around, and I think that was the thing, or aunts and a network around them to help them. So Yeah, they are still there. Thousands want the free flights.
Yeah.
My best friend's like,
Oh, that's
"You are
one way
not-
to
you're
sell
not
it, isn't it?"
giving this job up because we go to Indonesia every year and it costs us £300 on business class. So he's like, you can keep this career.
Yeah, so what's the minimum amount of hours you can work? That's
Well,
the
that's
question,
thing,
isn't it?
right? Well, that's the thing. Like, my friend now, she's got it sweet. She works one flight a month. So that's just four days a month she's away from her son.
Could you have gone back to that?
There was a chance. I had it. They did offer me to come back last year. No, they didn't offer. They asked. They really said, "Please come back." When after COVID finished and they were recruiting everyone back, and
Same package that they're offering you, or less?
it was a better package. It was so much more.
Why didn't you take it then?
Again, I just didn't. I always knew that I was moving back. I should have done it when I came back to England. Because I only came back 3 years ago. I should have done it right at the start. Because I was even saying to my mum, like, if I do it, she's just going to do it for a year though. Like, is it really worth it?
Of course it is.
Well, now in hindsight,
Because-
well, then I wouldn't have met Laura.
That's
We
right.
wouldn't have had our time together. So
Okay, everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
But then you could have met Laura in a different way. It doesn't have to be necessarily that specific way.
that's true. That's true. But the amount of time, the amount of coffees we had, like, nah.
I think your path needed to go the way it needed
Yeah.
to go.
Okay. So Laura, would you do it all again?
You know, I think the only thing I would do differently in hindsight, so I have a 23-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter, and I missed a lot of time with them as they were growing up. So the only thing I think I'd do differently is set better boundaries. I worked, before I worked in, owned my own practice, I worked in the school system, and I worked, 70 hours a week. And I just gave and gave and gave. So,
As a teacher?
actually as a school counselor. So,
Okay.
but I just, you just give and give and give because there's always need, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it burnt me out, and I had nothing left to give when I came home at night. So I think that for me was something that I've learned over the years. It's just a little bit better boundaries. I think would be beneficial for anybody.
Yeah, and I know they teach that in counselling.
Yeah,
Because
we teach it. Yeah.
because I did a counselling course a while ago.
How cool is
I didn't
that?
pass, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot from
I
it.
learned a lot. Which is, I think everybody should. I think counselling should be taught at schools.
100%.
The basic
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
because my argument is you go to school to learn to communicate
Yes.
above all things.
100%.
And if you know how to communicate and be empathetic to other people, then I think it will reduce a lot of domestic violence, a lot of violence in general.
A lot of
Yeah.
mental
A
health
lot,
conditions.
yeah.
And I think also there's so much stigma about people having a counsellor or a therapist. I think again that needs to be more normalised, much more normalised, so that people are not afraid. That it should be the same as like saying you're going to the doctors because you have a cold, like, and people go okay, kind of thing.
But that's interesting because in America it's normalised.
It's
Would you
so
say that?
normalised.
But here we're different because we're stiff upper
upper
lip.
lip.
Yeah, and
Yes,
if people
yes.
hear you have a therapist or counsellor, there's two trains of thoughts. Either they think like they literally think you have so much money you don't know what to do with. You're just being bougie and you just want to be new age and stuff like that, or they think you're crazy. They never
wow.
think so it's kind of like
Okay.
people just
Every time the cops are called, it's a mental health issue. If you
Would-
realize that, if you're able to accept that, you recognize that is the fundamental problem in every situation. It's a mental health issue.
Would you say it's crazy blue, or would you say people look at it like, okay, well clearly they're not firing in all cylinders in the sense, so maybe we can't give them that responsibility. Maybe we can't. Do you see what I mean? People are scared in that respect that I'm not going to be looked at person who's fully functional,
yeah.
and therefore, I wouldn't give this person a job if they need to see a therapist.
I
Do you
don't
see what I
even.
mean?
Well, the thing is, I don't even know if it even gets to the level of like someone giving you a job. Because how would they know that you're seeing a therapist? I just think even if you just telling your friends, like, people just like, why do you need that? Why are you doing that? Like, do you know? And this is not for everybody. I can only speak for people I know, and just the stigma I've heard about it.
Have you seen a therapist before?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And the first time I did was when I was in America. My husband had to go to, and that's the thing, there are so many different reasons why you may want to see a therapist. My husband had to go to Baghdad, and I was going to be in America for 1 year solid with 2 little children.
Is he in the military?
He's in the foreign service, yeah.
Okay.
So one of my friends who had kind of done the same thing the year before with little kids, she said, you're really going to need a therapist to get through this year. And I was like, why? And she said, because you're going to need someone to talk to, not just your mum, because obviously my mum wasn't in America, and not just your friends. And I was like, do you really think so? She said, yeah, I think you should line up a therapist. Just trust me on this one. I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And so I lined up, I reached out through my health insurance. That's another thing in America, your health insurance covers it, so it really does help. So I reached out through my health insurance to find a therapist, and then she said, what do you need to talk about? I was like, someone told me that maybe I need a therapist because my husband's going away to Baghdad and maybe I need support. That was the first line of discussion. 6 months later, we had opened so many other things that I didn't even need addressing. Didn't think I needed addressing. So yeah, and it was very interesting. That was my first experience. But it took a while for me to even tell my mum or my dad or my sister, because they were like, why?
My parents believe the same thing. They think I'm insane for being a therapist.
Yeah. My mum was like, but you're not, there's not anything wrong with you. I said, no, but mum, I'm getting support. Well, I can support you. I'm like, yeah, I understand. But now she's so okay about it. Like now, I'm like, she's like, oh, okay.
Has she seen that you'll become a better or stronger person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Laura, how's your parents? Have they changed over the time?
It's interesting. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college, and the first person to get a master's degree. And when I told them that I was getting a master's in counseling, my dad was like, "You're gonna like get paid to talk to people?"
But is he wrong though? Because you get paid to talk to people.
I do, absolutely, but there's a little bit more to it than that. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally,
my mum will be saying you're paying someone to talk to them.
To listen to you, yeah. No, but it's funny. But he's right. But they're proud of me now, right? They're proud of me for having a successful business than probably anything else. I don't know that they necessarily see the benefits of therapy because they're very stiff upper lip. You know, sweep it under the rug, pat it down really hard.
What's your descendants, Laura? You're American, but what's your heritage?
My grandfather's Cherokee Indian.
Okay.
And I don't know much about my dad's side. My real dad's not in my life, but that's sort of where I come from.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I look at it like this. You go back a certain period of time, if you'd gone to your father or your parents and said, I'm going to be a football player, they'd say, what? Someone's going to pay you to kick the ball? Go and learn your books and become a banker. So you could relate to that. But now, if your child comes to you and says, I'm going to be a footballer, okay, we're going to go shopping. You're going to get these boots and this and that, because you know there's money involved.
That's right. Yeah.
So with any new, because I was looking up about Carl Rogers on the course.
Yes, for sure.
And therapist isn't, in one sense, therapy's been around for thousands of years because you have counsellors.
Right.
And counselled, people will give you counsel for war, like the king. I know you're upset now, but you don't need to sack that whole population. That kind of thing.
Is that what the King and Queen's Council is?
Yeah,
I did not even know that.
Yeah. But that's how it would be in the old day. You'd have to talk, the king could talk to the council, those people who he'd feel comfortable talking to, and then he could relate. Then obviously you move forward to the Carl Rogers time. he came up with all these different forms of Carl Rogers is, I'm not sure if you're familiar, yeah, I know you would be, Lou, I'm not sure if Blue is. He's like a
person-centered therapy.
yeah, he's a main person in the therapy world.
Okay,
but he was around for when things were black and white, TV was black and white.
Right.
That kind of
But
thing.
he believed in like a person-centered therapy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can grow from who we are. We know ourselves best,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is true.
Yeah, that's true. You do know yourself best.
So yeah, why I bring up Carl Rogers is because it's new, still relatively new.
Right. That's a
So
good point.
people in time will be like, and we all know what happens in America today may happen in England or Europe in 10 or 15 years
Yeah,
time.
it's the wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope what happens in America doesn't happen.
Well, we won't go into politics. But yeah. But it's been an interesting journey with you ladies. We're just coming to the end.
Oh,
I've got a question for you two ladies.
yes.
If you've had an interesting life experience, you travelling the world and looking after both of you looking after your children and being a therapist. If you could give one gift to the world based on your life experience in the form of an advice, what would that be?
I don't know. I think love one another. Yeah. Love is the answer, right? It's the answer to everything.
I think my advice is, this is what I always try and say, is like, treat every day as if it's the opening night. Just give it your all. And I fall victim of not doing that, and I think we should try and treat every day as it's the opening night, because we don't know when it's going to be the closing night, and we don't know when we're not going to have it anymore. And that's it.
Okay. Well, ladies, we've come to the end. And it looks like we've definitely come to the end of this journey because you can't go down that road.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can go down this road if I can.
This is really fun.
What's the name of your company if people want to follow you?
Hosted counseling.
Holistic counselling.
Holistic counselling.
Yes, it's integrative counseling, like mental health and health, like just physical exercise, all those kinds of things. We do
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
Well, thanks. And it's on social media?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay, so...
Holistic counselor Laura.
Okay, that's